one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it, because you can.
This story comes to us from the Washington Post. The officer who fatally shot Timothy Green near a Washington State coffee shop wore gloves with a Blue Lives Matter emblem while attempting to treat his wounds. The on-scene commander had adorned his department-issued laptop with a badge showing a coiled rattlesnake and a mantra often understood by extremism researchers to represent right-wing anti-government ideology. What is it like? The only one I can come up with is tread on me. That's the one I think of. Now, according to a settlement finalized last week between the city of Olympia, Washington, and the family of Green, a black man who was having a psychotic episode when he was killed in 2022, Olympia police must stop personalizing city equipment. The city must also pay Green's family $600,000, and Green's lawyers say the agreement is the first step in restoring the public's trust in the city's police officers after Green's family questioned how their beliefs influence the way they protect Olympia residents. Quote, "This is not unique to the city of Olympia. This is happening countrywide," said Gabe Galanda, one of the family attorneys. Gabe goes on, "Whatever law enforcement is doing, they have to be above partisanship or political ideology." Now, the Pierce County Superior Court approved the settlement on Friday. The city of Olympia said in an unsigned press release that it was committed to a transparent investigation of the shooting. Work, it said, was critical to maintaining trust between law enforcement and our community. The issue of how police officers express their political beliefs has faced scrutiny in recent years. Because in 2016, during Donald Trump's first presidential campaign, Trump released a video with San Antonio police officers wearing "Make America Great Again" hats. The city reprimanded those police officers, and its mayor said police must serve above politics. The issue has remained in the years since. Now, some police officers joined the mob that attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, and I brought that up yesterday. Others have maintained connections to militia or extremist groups. Olympia police have similarly been at times linked to far-right groups, including posing for Facebook picture with members of the right-wing anti-government Three Percenters. Kate Bitts, an extremism researcher within the Western States Center, a civil rights organization that has a program on countering white nationalism, said police use of symbols like the thin blue line makes prejudice more permissive. Quote, "Other law enforcement agencies should consider voluntarily adopting similar policies on officer use of symbolism as a means of responding to public concern about harmful ideologies within law enforcement." That's what she said. As part of last week's settlement in Olympia, Washington, patrol officers must also take a crisis intervention training and a course about using appropriate force options when dealing with someone in a mental health crisis. Now, police leadership and the officers who were at the scene of Tim Green must also complete training on the historical section between race and policing. The family hopes these measures will prevent future police killings. Quote, "We have been forever impacted by the death of a son, a brother, a father, and an uncle. Tim did not deserve to die this way, and we do not want this to happen to anyone else." Now, the case dates back to August of 2022, when Green's family called police to help with the 37-year-old's erratic behavior. Again, mental health. Green had barricaded the front door of their home and made threats to kill himself and those around him. His parents, Oscar and Mildred Green, told police that Green was using drugs and had bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. Sergeant Joseph Bellamy and officers Jordan Anderson and Stephen Thomas defused the situation, Now, according to the Green's family attorneys, the officers knew Green and his mental health conditions. But 2 days later, August 22nd, 2022, Green experienced another psychotic episode, and this time it was in and around a Starbucks store. Officers arrived at the scene, including Anderson and Bellamy, who knew about him. Green pulled a pocket knife and a Bible out of his backpack. Starbucks customers who were there and interviewed by the family's attorney said Green looked harmless, even with the pocket knife. The county prosecutor said in a written report that Green threatened to shoot officers with a knife, and held the knife as if ready to stab somebody. "I'm going to shoot you," with a knife. Officers then deployed stun guns at Green as Bellamy was retrieving a projectile launcher that could shoot rounds such as foam bullets in case Green grew frantic. The stun guns failed, and that's when a video from a witness shows Anderson moving towards Green. Anderson fired 3 shots into Green's torso. The other 2 officers handcuffed him as he bled. He was soon pronounced deceased at a nearby hospital.
His family says Green was dealing with a mental health episode when he was shot. As part of the $600,000 settlement, all officers in the department must complete additional training on either the history of race and policing or crisis intervention.
Quote, "As a mother, I will never forget that day," says Mildred, "and nor does any other mother forget the day their child was taken because of a mental health crisis." As Green bled, Anderson donned the Blue Lives Matter gloves and began trying to give Green first aid, according to family attorneys. They said nearby, the attorneys say Bellamy began removing items from his vehicle, including his department-issued laptop with a Blue Lives Matter flag and an emblem of a coiled rattlesnake and the slogan, "No step on snake." No step on snake. What? The image and phrase are often understood to be a reference to the "don't tread on me," that's what I said. The attorneys say it represents anti-government right-wing ideology. Olympia officials said Bellamy was not attempting to hide his laptop, but was working to schedule additional officers to cover for the shortage that was created by the incident. A 2023 Olympia Police Auditor report found that while the department use of force was down 24% in 2022, most 83% was against people in crises. The Olympia Police Department practice today is not keeping vulnerable people safe, wrote Green family spokesperson Leslie Cushman. The family's attorneys also requested that the county prosecutor reevaluate the decision not to file charges against the police officer. The prosecutor ruled that the use of deadly force was reasonable, justifiable, and lawful because he had a knife and he was going to shoot him. The police department completed its internal review and is expected to release its report sometime in September this year. But, you know, there are so many things wrong with this what happened here. They pulled out a knife. "I'm going to shoot you." So they shot him. Well, he said he was going to shoot us with a knife. But the witnesses in Starbucks said, well, the guy appeared to be harmless. They said that. You know, and if people around aren't scared, what the hell are the cops scared for? You know, normally the people around are scared and do something to the police. Here, they were like, this guy looks harmless, man. That aside, I want to know what you guys think about what they said about the ideology, like Blue Lives Matter, the thin blue line, don't tread on me, and all these different flags and 3%ers. And do you believe that those things are an ideology that promotes prejudice or bias? I want to know what you think about that. Let me know.